In this tutorial, we will briefly introduce the forecasting tracking signal. The tracking signal is an approach for spotting bias in a forecast. There are two approaches and there will be a tutorial for each approach. Look at the chart on the slide. The actuals are in blue and the forecast in orange. For every single period in which we have a forecast, the forecast is below the actual demand. This is an example of bias. Bias is when a forecast consistently forecasts too high or too low. Not every single forecast has to be too high or too low as we had on the prior slide, but rather when most of them are wrong in the single direction you have bias. The tracking signal is a way of monitoring a forecast for bias. The tracking signal for any period t is computed as the sum of the error terms through period t divided by the MAD through period t. A common error that I see students making is wanting to compute the overall MAD for the forecast and then using that single MAD to compute all the tracking signals. That is incorrect. To compute the tracking signal for, say, period 6, we need the MAD computed for just the forecast for periods 1 through 6. For period 7, we then need a new MAD computed using the forecast for periods 1 through 7. In other words, we need a new MAD for each period. The approach to working the problem shown in this tutorial makes it easy to avoid this mistake. Almost every textbook uses the same approach to tracking signals, and that approach is demonstrated in the first tutorial. We call this the standard approach. The Operations Management textbook by William J. Stevenson uses a different approach that is demonstrated in the second tutorial. The actual tracking signal is computed the same way, but the MAD is not computed for every period. Rather, it is estimated using simple exponential smoothing. The first approach is both easier and preferred and should be used unless you're using the Stevenson textbook. In that case, you need to use the second approach. Regardless of the approach to computing the tracking signal, a tracking signal within plus or minus 4 indicates an unbiased forecast. Values above plus 4 or below negative 4 indicate bias.
If you found that this video helped you with your operations management problem, please consider liking the video and even subscribing to the channel.